Meet Ethan Crumbley, the young suspect at the center of a tragic mass shooting that left Michigan reeling. On November 30th, 2021, just 15 years old, Ethan unleashes chaos at Oxford High School, brutally taking the lives of several students and teachers. Using his father's 9mm handgun, Ethan's deadly plan unfolded after his dad called 911 upon discovering the weapon was missing.
I had a missing gun, and my son was at the school, and then someone told me that there was an active shooter, and then I raced home just to find out, and I think my son took the gun. I don't know.
First responders rushed to the scene within minutes, desperately working to evacuate students to safety.
And then someone told me that there was an active shooter, and then I raced home just to find out, and I think my son took the gun. I don't know.
Tragically, their efforts came too late for 3 students who died at the scene, while a 4th succumbed to injuries later. Ethan was arrested shortly after the chaos.
That's the defendant on the screen in the back of the police car, is that right?
Yes.
When his parents arrived at the station, they were confronted by the very son who shattered their world.
I don't think we need to have so many questions right now.
Shockingly, his only concern was for his cat, Dexter, named after a psychopathic TV character.
I love you, I love you, I love you.
His parents were horrified by their son's utter lack of remorse. Charged with first-degree murder and terrorism, the prosecution highlighted the gravity of his actions in court.
The hearing today is the most important legal proceeding in the lives of nearly everyone in this courtroom. It is incredibly important for the defendant. His life is at stake. But everyone else is here in this courtroom today because this defendant made the decision to kill 4 other people and to take their lives instead of his own.
Ethan's chilling journal and disturbing text messages revealed his intent, including a list of items he needed for the attack.
And then throughout this page, the defendant write a list of items it appears that he plans to take on November the 30th.
He graphically detailed his murderous desires, even expressing a wish for his victims' families to suffer.
I'm going to rain fucking fire down on this school. I will cause the biggest school shooting in Michigan's history. I will kill everyone I fucking see. The first victim has to be a pretty girl with a future so she can suffer just like me.
A week prior to the shooting, Ethan's ominous Google searches about prison sentences hinted at his dark plans.
Google searched, what is the worst prison sentence you can get in Michigan? He wrote, what is a life sentence for a 15-year-old?
Just one day before, he recorded his thoughts, admitting he couldn't shake the urge to kill.
The name I will find people hide. Ethan Crumbley. Age 15 and how they're wrong. I'm gonna be a person, and I'm gonna be the next school. And I will find people hiding. I'm gonna teach them a lesson of how they're wrong.
The school principal recounted her desperate attempts to save a victim, the weight of her experience heavy on her heart.
I could feel the entrance wound in the back of his head. I could see that the bullet had exited through his eye. When I put my hand down on the ground, I put my hand in what would have been his eyeball. I immediately started to take his pulse and check his vitals as best as I could, and then...
Initially pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, Ethan displayed chaotic behavior while in custody. At one moment he cried out in despair, "Oh God, why didn't you stop it?" and expressed regret.
Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you stop it? I know she stopped it. Please stop it. Please stop it.
A mental health expert deemed him mentally ill, citing psychosis episodes.
We witness a child in the throes of psychosis. God, why didn't you stop it? And that's exactly how psychosis works.
Despite claims of being bullied, Ethan ultimately confessed and pleaded guilty to all charges.
Is it true that your actions on November the 30th, 2021 caused the deaths of Madison Baldwin, Tate Muir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling?
Yes.
At sentencing, the victims' families confronted him, their pain palpable in the courtroom.
As I don't wish death upon you, that would be too easy. I hope the thoughts consume you and they replay over and over in your head. The thoughts won't stop. I'm sure you heard that paraphrase before.
While one mother wished for a punishment worse than death, another father asked for life in prison.
I feel strongly that the individual should never be allowed to walk among his peers again. And this is why I'm going to ask you to lock this son of a bitch up for the rest of his pathetic life. His blatant lack of human decency and disturbing thoughts on life in general do not in any way warrant a second chance. My son doesn't get a second chance, and neither should he.
With a heavy heart, Ethan expressed remorse for the anguish he caused.
My actions were because of what I chose to do. I could not stop myself, but I am the one who led to why we are here today. So I really am sorry for what I've done, for what I've taken of them. I cannot give it back, but I can try my best in the future to help other people, and that is what I will do.
The moment of truth arrived as the judge prepared to announce his fate.
Sentence of the court is that the defendant shall serve the rest of his life without the possibility of parole with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served.
Ethan Crumbley was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus an additional 24 years. In a shocking twist, his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, were charged with involuntary manslaughter for neglecting to secure the gun and ignoring warning signs.
Is it true that you asked him to buy the firearm?
Yes.
Is it true that you gave him your own money to buy the firearm?
Yes.
CCTV footage revealed them practicing shooting with Ethan at a local range just days before the tragedy. They fled after the shooting, but were later apprehended while hiding in a friend's shop. Both parents were convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison. This unprecedented case marked the first time in American history that parents faced criminal charges for their child's mass school shooting. While Ethan Crumbley will spend his life in prison for his horrifying actions, what happens when someone has a change of heart in the midst of a shootout?
I could have shot her, but I don't know.
On April 20th, 2018, just 2 months after the tragic Parkland High School shootings that claimed 17 lives, CCTV footage captured former student Sky Bush entering Forest High School, a blue backpack slung over his shoulder and a black guitar case in hand.
Image one that has become all too familiar.
At 3 p.m., the shooter is still at large, but now a possible description.
Inside that guitar case lay a shotgun, while his backpack concealed a tactical vest, gloves, and a stash of shotgun shells. As he slipped into the boys' washroom, Bush loaded his weapon and donned his gear. With a heart-pounding resolve, he made his way toward classroom 212 and fired a shot into the door, injuring a student standing helplessly behind it. When police rushed to the scene, they discovered the injured student lying on a makeshift bed of chairs.
What the hell is that?
What happened?
Unable to locate Bush, officers quickly ordered a lockdown of the school.
Hey, lock this school down.
Then one officer made a chilling discovery. Bush was in a classroom just down the hall.
Somebody said McManus is the kid. Huh?
McManus has the kid.
Where?
They race to the room only to find the teenager calmly sitting on a chair, seemingly waiting to surrender.
Down on the ground. What the hell? Put your hands behind your back.
Incredibly, Bush attempted to justify his actions to the bewildered officers.
I'm sorry, sir.
What are you
I wasn't raised by the right people.
Are you kidding me?
There's a lot of violence. I don't know. In medical.
5345 area, the front doors of the main building are all locked. I'm walking around the outside.
Are you serious?
I don't know why.
Don't say another word.
Sometimes, I just don't feel anything. It's hard to describe because no one believes me.
He claimed his family had a long history of mental illness.
Do you have a mental disorder?
Everyone in my family is either bipolar or schizophrenic.
Taken into custody, Bush faced serious charges: discharging a firearm on school property, possession of a short-barrel gun, and burglary with a firearm.
Get up.
Let's take him to this west stairwell. Leave him down.
In a haunting interview after his arrest, he revealed a violent upbringing, grappling with his conscience.
It's just being around stuff that, a child shouldn't be around. My first memory is violence and conflict. That's my first memory.
Bush expressed remorse for injuring the student, stating that it drove him to stop and surrender to a teacher.
Do you feel sorry? Do you feel remorseful?
Yeah. That's why I put down the gun. I could have kept going. There was no officers there.
Fearful of his own potential for violence, he begged authorities for solitary confinement.
I'm just to really, really scare them. I want to be put away where I can't hurt anybody.
Ultimately, Bush
attended for 2 weeks without any problem.
He was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the shooting that forever changed lives at his high school.
Handcuffed and shackled inside Marion County's jail. He claims he's been treated for his mental health before, but wanted more serious attention paid to his problems now.
While Sky Bush played an unexpected sense of compassion amidst his horrific crime, how does this compare to the brutal murder of a teacher?
The defendant violently raped Colleen Ritzer. He viciously, brutally, and senselessly attacked Colleen.
Like in the case of Philip Chisholm, who is on trial for a grisly murder in Massachusetts.
Chisholm, by way of arrest.
It was shocking.
It was a brutal crime, allegedly at the hands of a teen.
According to reports, in 2013, 14-year-old Chisholm sexually assaulted, stabbed, and robbed his math teacher, Colleen Ritzer, in a bathroom at Danvers High School. CCTV footage from the school's hallway showed Ritzer going towards the ladies' room while Chisholm secretly stalked her. He then followed his teacher inside the bathroom, putting on gloves in the process. A few minutes later, Chisholm was seen running outside, where he grabbed a large recycling bin and headed back to the bathroom. He was then seen with his face covered, dragging the bin out of the bathroom, through the hallway, and outside the school. Police say Chisholm stole Ritzer's purse, keys, and credit cards.
He stole her purse, keys, and credit card.
Hours later, he even bought a movie ticket with one of the stolen credit cards. Then at around midnight, police found Chisholm walking along Route 1, where he confessed to the murder.
I asked him if he knew where the girl was.
What did he tell you?
He stated that she was buried in the woods.
And what did you ask him next?
I asked him if we can get to him, can we help her?
And what did he tell you?
He said no.
Police also found the murder weapon in Chisholm's pocket, covered with Ritzer's blood. Ritzer's body was found in the woods near the school, a few yards away from the place of her dream job. Chisholm was charged with first-degree sexual assault, armed robbery, and first-degree murder.
Teacher, a 14-year-old student you see there under arrest right now, and ABC's Gio Benitez is live in Danvers, Massachusetts.
At his trial, investigators took the stand, revealing Chisholm's confession while in custody.
So he said he karate chopped her neck, which rendered her unconscious. He talked about putting his hand on her mouth, and then he talked about dragging that box cutter across her neck without it causing any injury. And then he said the second time, the meridian point.
Chisholm even told police where to find Ritzer's body.
We had asked him to kind of draw us a map of the area so that we could kind of pinpoint where she would be.
If that wasn't enough, even Chisholm's defense admitted that he was a murderer.
Philip Chisholm killed Colleen Ritzer.
But offered the explanation that Chisholm was severely mentally ill.
He had been suffering from a psychotic disorder since the age of 10.
But the prosecution argued that Ritzer's murder was premeditated, as Chisholm went to school that day well prepared.
A blue sweatshirt with a hood, gloves, a mask, a box cutter.
Unsurprisingly, the jury convicted Chisholm of all counts. At his sentencing, Judge David Lowy detailed the violent nature of Chisholm's crime.
The defendant violently raped Colleen Ritzer. He viciously, brutally, and senselessly attacked Colleen in the girls' bathroom.
Ultimately, Chisholm was sentenced to life in prison with a chance of parole after 40 years for the murder of Colleen Ritzer. But Chisholm would be back again in court. In 2024, Chisholm, now 25, pleaded guilty to attempted murder and kidnapping charges.
Philip Chisholm pleaded guilty today in Suffolk Juvenile Court to attempted murder and kidnapping charges. He was 15 when he was charged with attacking and seriously injuring a female DYS worker back in 2014.
Back in 2015, while awaiting trial for Colleen Ritzer's murder, Chisholm attacked and seriously injured a female juvenile detention worker.
At the beginning of June, Chisholm was being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Dorchester.
This time he was sentenced to 17 to 20 years in state prison for the attack on the youth worker. While some say the law went easy on Philip Chisholm, what happens when you shoot up a high school football game?
Hey, shoot, shot fire, shot fire! Hey, hey, hey!
Like in the case of Devon Thompson, who was apprehended and arrested after shots were fired in Jacksonville, Florida.
Where you hit? My head. Your head? Yes. Hold on. Hit me in my head. And right here. Where?
On August 18th, 2023, chaos erupted after 15-year-old Devon Thompson opened fire into a crowd, leaving a football game at First Coast High School.
Greg Burton with DCPS says there were safety protocols in place, including bag checks, canine detection dogs, and a new weapons detection system.
Earlier that day, authorities had received warnings of potential violence between rival groups attending the game.
We're learning the identity of the teenager who was shot by police. All of this after police say he shot into a crowd leaving a football game at First Coast High School.
Police were already present at the scene when Thompson began shooting. The sound of gunfire sent officers sprinting toward the panicked crowd. Immediately, they spotted Thompson as he tried to escape.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey! Oh! Hey, white shirt, white shirt, white shirt! Oh! What a gun! What a shot!
As officers pursued him, they opened fire while Thompson fled through a wooded area, climbing fences in a desperate attempt to get away.
White t-shirt!
He managed to cross a nearby street but was quickly apprehended by the officers.
Get on the fucking ground now! I'll fucking kill you! Don't you fucking move!
You got him?
Grab him.
You got him?
Yeah.
A bullet grazed Thompson's head, and another struck his lower body.
You're hit? Who's hit? He. Where are you hit? My hand. Your head? Yes.
Despite the injuries, officers provided first aid and rushed him to the hospital.
Hey, give me your shears.
Hey, can you get a med kit?
Yeah. Here's my tourniquet, Phil. Here. Hey, I'm sorry, I gotta pull your pants down.
The gun Thompson used had been reported stolen just 5 days earlier. Thompson now faced charges of discharging a firearm on school grounds and carrying a concealed weapon. His trial is pending. But as Thompson's fate unfolds, one haunting question remains. What happens when gang members target innocent school children?
Why did you shoot the victims?
Where she was making fun of Godinez and myself.
Like in the case of Melvin Jovel, who is on trial for multiple murders in New Jersey.
Jovel pled guilty to being the trigger man who lined up and shot 4 unarmed teenagers in the head. Only one survived.
According to reports, 21-year-old Jovel was among a group of 6 who killed 3 school friends in execution style in 2007. Police said the 6 suspects lined up their 4 victims in a Newark schoolyard, where Jovel shot them in the head.
Prosecutors say Jovel and 5 other men lined the victims up in a Newark schoolyard and shot them. The men have ties to a violent gang known as MS-13.
The group lined up their 4 victims in a Newark schoolyard where Jovel shot them in the head, and miraculously 1 survived. All 6 assailants were tied to the infamous MS-13 gang. Jovel was swiftly arrested and charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
The suspects ranged in age from 15 to 28 at the time of the killings.
In court, Jovel recounted the gruesome details of the murders with chilling detachment. Jovel claimed the shootings were sparked by the victims mocking him and his friend.
Why did you shoot the victims?
Because one of the victims, the lady that survived, she kept coming back and forth from where she was, making fun of Godinez and myself.
He eventually pleaded guilty to all charges. During his sentencing, a mother of one of the victims faced Jovel, offering forgiveness, but cursing him to rot in hell.
I don't hate you, Mr. Jovel. I forgive you. I hope that when he leaves this life, that his soul is fireproof, because he's destined to spend eternity burning in hell.
Another grieving father hoped for an apology from Jovel, but received none.
Father of murder victim Deshaun Harvey was hoping for an apology.
Is that what MS-13 membership involves? Killing innocent people? I haven't heard any of you guys ask for forgiveness or tell the family members in any way that you are sorry for your evil and despicable acts.
Jovel was sentenced to 245 years in prison for snatching away the lives of those young teens. In total, the 6 gang members received over 1,000 years in prison collectively. While Jovel took lives over a petty fight, what happens when a simple hug can stop a shooter in his tracks?
A gun grab ending in an emotional embrace.
Like in the case of Angel Granados Diaz, who is facing serious charges for bringing a loaded gun to his school in Portland, Oregon.
Yes, Mr. Angel, no matrix or recall vote for Judge Holstein.
On May 17, 2019, 19-year-old Granados Diaz entered Parkrose High School with a gun hidden under his coat. Just moments later, football coach and security officer Keenan Lowe walked into the building. The two nearly crossed paths as Lowe made his way toward a classroom. Granados Diaz followed, armed with a shotgun, as panicked students ran for safety. In a heroic move, Lowe tackled the gunman and disarmed him. Holding the gun in one hand and keeping Granados Diaz at bay with the other, Lowe called for help.
I lunged for the gun, put two hands on the gun, and I was able to wrestle it away and kind of save the day.
But what happened next was even more powerful. Lowe embraced the young shooter. For minutes, the two shared a moment of connection, talking and hugging as Lowe diffused the situation emotionally. Police soon arrived, unaware the gunman had been disarmed. They found Granados Diaz calmly sitting with Lowe and took him into custody. According to authorities, Granados Diaz had initially planned to kill himself at home, but was worried his mother would be the first to discover his body. To avoid prison, Granados Diaz pled guilty to gun charges, receiving probation and immediate mental health treatment.